Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gravel Trap Legends GT4 Americana series. This is round 6 from, where are we tonight, Neil?
We are at the beautiful Indianapolis Brickyard for the final round, and we're on the road course, not around the four corners, but the nice road course inside.
And this is the final round for the GT4 series. And very shortly, they'll be leaving their stamp on the USA, and GTL Man will be jumping over the Panama and heading down to Brazil as they go to their next season, which will be the full Brazilian for the Formula Inter. And a handy thing here, Neil, is that the commentators, we don't have to do the full Brazilian. We drivers have been committed to the full Brazilian, including the wax, which just bringing tears to my eyes, Neil, at the thought of it, mate.
Oops, but I already rushed in early because I knew there was going to be a rush of the waxing, so I'm a little bit itchy in the seat as we speak, to tell you the truth, Tim.
Oh, mate, that's not good.
Nice and clean, I can say that much. Ooh la la. But here we go. We've got Darren. We're looking at the Twinkies. Currently fourth in the actually qualifying, leading the championship by 17 points to the Bloody Nine, who's just behind him, nipping at his tail. But still got a little bit of work to do. He's about 4/10 down. So he's got to pick the pace up. But he may be just happy just to be in this top five, Tim, and knowing this is going to be an hour-long race, and we've seen so much action throughout this series of GT4, so it doesn't really matter where you are because there can be incidents anywhere, but obviously the pointy end of the field is always handy, Tim.
And it is going to be awkward qualifying. It does not look like a very complicated track on paper, but when you put a car onto this track, get in behind the wheel and take it for a scrap, it's a whole different experience.
It sure is.
Overtaking is going to be a challenge, especially with the way that these GT4 cars are paired with their BOPs. The Merc may take some favour out of the two long straights, but it's going to lose out going through the tight, windy sections. Unfortunately, no track corner names as the typical American track. They're just numbers. So 14 corners for this track. The guy's still another 10 minutes of qualifying for the GT4s before the wild card guys come out in the P2s. So let's take a look at the track map, Neil, while we're here. So this evening we are at Indianapolis Speedway. And this will be round 6, and it is a 60-minute race plus 1 lap and times 5 progression. So the race will be starting mid-afternoon and finishing in the evening under lights. And the date for this race is the 22nd of September 2022. The track facts are Carl Fisher invested heavily and started construction in 1909 for Indianapolis Speedway. The first event was a balloon race to raise attention to the circuit while under construction. The event drew a reported 40,000 spectators. Motorcycles were the first wheeled machine to race on the new circuit, and the event was held on the 14th of August 2009, with the first car maker event was held the following weekend. Unfortunately, the event did not concede because there was 2 deaths from drivers and a further 5 spectators were killed during the event, and they were forced to cease, and they were told that they could not hold any more racing until they fixed the surface. So while paving was still quite new in America at that stage, they determined that they were going to pave the entire circle, which is now the legendary start-finish line with the red bricks. The entire circuit was repaved in the red bricks, and they reopened and had their next event, well, I believe, was around about the 14th of December in 1909.
Some interesting facts there.
It's a lot of heritage on this track, and that's why they still have the red bricks across the start-finish line.
Yeah, it's very, very famous indeed. And DDF just keeps going from strength to strength. He keeps putting out fastest laps as we go, getting to the end of their qualifying run for the GT4s. And Dino just ghosting here at the moment from one of the cars, but he's currently second, just trying to see if he can share this front row with DDF. But the guys that have been going pretty fast, Petey in the Pepsi Max car, obviously subbing in for, is it Max or Pixel Boy? Probably Pixel Boy.
Pixel, yep.
As Max Power is actually in the P2 doing his wildcard entry, along with Mac Attack.
And we have Catholic Hooligans in the chat with us this evening. He's cheering on for Petey. Great to have you aboard, mate.
Excellent to see someone supporting Petey here, obviously in this Pixel Max car. Absolutely looks brilliant. He's the leading Porsche at the moment. John Slow all the way down in P10 at the moment in the KFC livery. And as Petey's just getting impeded here with a Mercedes, but that's obviously not affecting him because it looks like he's ghosted to that Mercedes because he looked like he was half in the boot of the Mercedes then.
Yes, for the qualifying, they do have the ghosting on. And we've got a bit of a fan crowd going on here for Petey. We've also got Illicit in the chat with us, and he's also cheering on Petey.
Awesome, as he's just off the track here. But here's the Porsche of John Slow.
The winner from round 4, I believe.
Yeah, around Road America. What a race that was. He was just on fire.
And guys, we're running some new equipment tonight. Let us know how the volumes are going. If we are happy with the volumes for the chat and the vehicles, that'd be great. And still 5 minutes to go, Neil. We'll just quickly jump over. We'll take a look at the weather forecast for this evening.
So definitely need to know about the weather. Been wet the last couple.
Yes, weather is going to be clear. Forecast for track temps to be above the 40-degree mark. Even though that this is a ×5 progression, they will be starting mid-afternoon and finishing under lights. The air temp and the track temps are expected to remain consistent. Great weather for racing.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just have a look to see what No Frills can do in the Dunkin' Donuts Janetta on board for a lap. Just run wide into turn 1, turn 2. Just all about trying to feather that throttle to get that rotation through. Full throttle through turn 3. And then big important corner here, turn 4 to try and get that power. As John Slow and the Hooters car having a bit of fun out the on the grass there. Waiting for the John Deere probably to come and pick them up. But No Frills in position 9. See how he's going through a sector shortly.
And this is one of the key overtaking points. If you can get down the inside and brake late and make the auto picks, great passing opportunity there at the end of the straight.
Yeah, turn 7 is going to be the action point of the track, I reckon. Also, sometimes when you hit a bit of pip and barge, you're going to have cars out on the grass or out of control.
Track limits are evil on this track.
So into turn 12 here, and then turn 13 is where you really want to try and cover yourself, but no drivers trying to get a bit of a run out of here. And then it's all about seeing if this car can hold the rotation through here. As you can see,
it's a track car.
No Frills, just clipping the grass. So that time would probably be invalidated as nothing came up there. So that's unfortunate for him.
Your right-hand tyres cannot cross that white line. As we have a look at the Mercedes go through the same section of track.
Yeah, the Mercedes seem to be well planted at the moment. Dino's having no trouble at all through the twisty bits. He's in P2. He's obviously the leading John Deere Mercedes.
We've got DDF currently on top in the Janetta.
Yeah, Rangy Rover in the number 11. I mean, sorry, 70 something.
It's actually a full mix, and this is what we spoke about, Neil. This track does balance out. We've got the Janetta, the Mercedes, the McLaren, and the Porsche, all within 4/10.
Yeah, there's nothing to it at all. We'll just see if Rangy can. This will be probably his last lap. He may get one more if he's lucky. Only 1.5 minutes remaining, so he should be able to get another lap in if he wants to.
So when the time remaining gets down to 15 minutes, the GT4s will return to pits, and the wildcard P2 Sigmas will come out for 15 minutes of qualifying.
It's the bloody 9. We'll see how he's going in the Mercedes, in the Jack Daniels. We know he's currently second in this championship. 17 points behind Darren, which is DGAM on your list there in position 3. And then Dino, who's in position 2, is only 5 points behind the bloody 9. So it is definitely race on. Let's not forget also Mark in this second of the John Deere Mercedes, 11 points away from Dino. So plenty on offer on this final circuit of the Americana GT4 series. What a series it's been, Tim. It's been full of action and such good races as well, as he's just slower than his best time. But if he wants to continue, we'll get one more in. But no, he's going to call that a day.
Yeah, the GT4s, even the Sigma P2s, have produced some of the best racing we've seen in GTL. Absolutely outstanding. Door to door, side by side, at some stages 3 cars wide, and getting the job done.
Yeah, as well. And G-Dude is seeing if he can climb up above Stu. He's going to have to do a little bit, though. His time's a little bit off. His first sector, he was down. And we're just going to hit the second sector very shortly. Oh, and he spun it right on the second sector, so we won't know. But Truey, he's coming through. See if he can get his time up into a low 31. One of the McLarens out on track.
A bit of handy wheel work there to balance out the under oversteer as they pass through turn 12.
Yeah, and he does go a little bit fast, but not enough to put any impression there on the leaderboard, Tim. So the GT4s, we've got DDF on pole position, and then Dino will be second alongside him. Darren in third with Petey. Plenty of support for Petey tonight, so we'll keep an eye on the Porsche of Petey's car in position 4 on the second row. Then we've got the bloody 9 on the third row alongside Brett. Mark will be on the 4th row with Cuckoo. 5th row will be No Frills and Rangy Rover. Then the 6th row, the Porsche of John Slow with Christopher Razor alongside him in position 12. Then on row 7, we'll have Norbs and Dat Boy. Row 8 will be Kiz and Scar. Row 9 will be Stu and D-Dude. And row 10 will be... I'm up to row 10, am I? Yeah. Yep. Mackenzie and Truey. So it's going to be a big field here tonight, but we've got the P2s now out for their qualifying session.
Yep. So while they get on track and come up to temp, let's take a quick look at the leaderboard. I'll just make that a bit bigger so I can read it, my aging eyes. So Darren is clearly on top at 157 points. The Bloody Nine second on 140. Dino with 135 and Mark 860 with 124 points, and Kiz knocking on the door with 119. So it is game on for second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. We'll all be fighting it out tonight for points. They all have used their wild card, so there is no P2 challenge anywhere in the top 10 that will make much of a difference to the titles. And we'll also take a quick look at the team's leaderboard. And on top we have the Team Twinks, which is the Janetta, I believe the Twinkies are. Oh no, the McLaren for DJ and Brett. The Dunkin' Donuts, which is the Janetta, and then the John Deere and the odd number 7, the two McLarens, or the two Mercedes. I'm doing shocker tonight. And then the PV Camaro in 5th place, with Taste of Rainbow Porsche in 6th position.
Yeah, nice one. As Joshua Hill puts it up on pole with a 124.160. What can Max Power do? And he only goes at 134.3, so he must have had a little bit of a moment. So Joshua Hill is out there, fastest again. So can Mac Attack put a challenge to Joshua Hill? And Josh currently 19th in the standings, so he'll obviously try and see if he can win this race and maybe push himself all the way up to a top 12 or so.
Now, Josh did have a fail to start one event when he was not available and couldn't find anyone to drive for him. That would be explained why he has had pace but not the points to be higher in the table.
Exactly. He's been very fast in the GT4s. And we'll just have a look and see Mac Attack as he's coming up to Sector 2 with Max Power just in front of him.
Now, Mac Attack, I think, is driving for Pixel this evening, maybe.
He could be.
As we see both of the Pixel Pepsi Max Porsches taking the P2s.
And don't forget the sensational victory we had at Watkins Glen, where these two cars came 1-2, I think it was, or no, they wasn't one car won it. They one of the Navy cars.
Yes.
Top Gun car. They did have a 1-2 on the cards, but Viper, and I think it was, came in for a late pit stop and they put slicks on. They thought that the weatherman had gone away and said the track was going to dry up on the last lap, and he was sliding everywhere and just
we've got a bit of a graphic moment there with the pit crew had lost his head. Don't be too concerned, guys. It is just a graphic glitch. Nothing to be concerned about. It's not a Halloween prank.
No, it's not. So we'll see if the Army forces can get up here at Indianapolis. I'm sure we're probably going to have a big flyover at some stage.
But we only have one P2. Mac Attack's put a time down. Are we missing a couple of P2s?
We've only got 3 P2s out on the grid. We've got Joshua Hill on pole with Mac Attack in second. And Max Power looks like he's going to have this thing stuck in the middle of some of these GT4s for this race. So this is going to be actually pretty interesting, Tim, as Max Power is probably trying to get used to the height, like the aero car, and being able to have that confidence to actually hold the thing flat through some corners. He's probably lifting where he probably should be going flat, who knows? But they can be tricky cars to get used to, the high downforce cars.
Okay, Brett S is still having a few issues. So while he did qualify 6th, he's having issues with his setup.
So
he's
they're
happy to be
hard.
He's happy to be sitting in the pits at the moment with the crew working hard to try and rectify that. It's obviously a bit of a technical glitch with the game. So hopefully he'll have that sorted by race.
Brett in the GT4.
Yep.
And the Twinkies. Okay.
So he's just realised that it did not load his setup, so he was driving with the default setup. So we'll expect
Oh,
that we'll
so
be a little bit faster come race.
right, so that's going to be interesting. We'll see how that goes. We'll have to keep an eye out, as he may be right on the back of Petey very early, and those supporters of Petey will be wanting to see if we can keep an eye of that battle between those two, I'd say. But let's go just have a look to see what it feels like in a cockpit of one of these P2 cars, as Mac Attack has gone up by 0.2 of a second, currently trailing 1.9 seconds from Joshua Hill. But what a great looking car, Tim.
It looks a little bit like the LMPs. Although probably a little bit better vision. Is a Delta 1.2?
Yeah, that's a nice looking lap here. Joshua Hill's just gone fastest again with a 22.7. So this track will be gripping up as we speak too, Tim. So the last few laps, the last lap in the last 9 stages is going to be the key. These drivers need to stay out or come in this little time around, get those fresh tyres on and go out and really nail this last part of this qualifying session. As you can hear him on the rev limiter in top gear, you can't adjust the gears any higher than that, so they have to just wear it that they're going to be maxing out top speed.
And the downforce on these cars just enables them to take so much pace through these tighter, windy section. Through turns 4, 5 and 6.
Oh, that was messy through there. It was sketchy. He
Big
was
chunk
all
of the curb.
sideways. That wish we were on board there. You would have seen the quick reflexes of the opposite lock from Mac Attack. I'd say this lap's going to be a bit slow. We'll wait for the second sector out of this corner on exit. We should see something come up now, 0.4 seconds down, so he's not going to get any time. What's Maxie going to do? Is he going to climb up? No, he's not.
Max has just discovered that the DRS needs to be enabled on the car, so he's just rectifying that issue at the moment to try and find a little bit of extra pace.
Yeah, as we said, it's a learning curve for Max. He probably hasn't been in these high power downforce type cars and trying to get used to all the features that some of these cars do have within the game.
And the interesting thing for the P2 is that it's not like KERS. They just have endless DRS where they can hold the wing open. But the drivers have all made the comment that it makes the rear of the car very, very light and lively.
Oh, sure would. But Joshua Hill currently nudging maybe a 122.5, and that'll get him a second clear of Mac Attack, but he's just got it over rotating out of turn 10, but he's still up by a fraction.
Flirting with the DRS through there.
Yeah, sometimes I'm thinking that this could be a graphical error too, because I know that you see them down the straight sometimes and they're open and closing, open and closing. So it's one of the things that's probably not representing exactly. Oh, big moment. I'd say that he would have had his DRS already engaged. And that's caused a whole lot of drama with the rear. As you just said, Tim, they've commented how lively these cars can be.
Too eager to push the button.
Very eager as Max Power comes out. So he's the only car on track at the moment. He's got it all to himself. It's like a shootout lap for Max. You just see that white solid line and where it breaks. So they must stay within that white line. They can't cross it, the blend line, until it stops. So very important for the drivers to take that inside line of turn 1.
And to the guys watching tonight, thank you very much for joining our stream. Hope you're enjoying it. And as usual, we will be uploading this into our YouTube channel so that you have the pleasure of rewatching the race anytime you like. TVJP, Sim Racing, check it out. I'll get myself organised. I'll throw a link up in the chat very, very shortly.
What I want to put the question out there, who's going to win the P2 battle between Joshua Hill, Mac Attack and Max Power? So people start typing away early on and we'll get you to be able to do another prediction halfway through the distance of the race. So at 30 minutes remaining, you got the option of changing your vote. And then the big one, who's going to win the GT4 race? There's a mixture of drivers there. Will it be Petey? Will it be the bloody 9? Or will Brett find that extra setup that he didn't have for qualifying, who's in position 6? Will he come up to P1? Or will DDF carry on his winning ways?
With only half a second separating, well, 5/10 separating the top 5 drivers, it's going to be an absolute cracker final, Neil.
Oh, it sure will be. I'm going to start it. Not that I can type anything, but I'm going to hedge my bet. Going for a little bit of an outside. Well, it's not really an outsider, but the bloody 9. There you go. In the black Mercedes Jack Daniel car. He's been knocking on the doors for a while, and I think those Mercedes, even though we were saying they're a little bit have a handful through the twisty bits, I think they've been able to tame it and manage the car. As we can see with Dino and P2, not too far away from pole position. The only other car on track is Joshua Hill. See if he can better his pole time already. It looks like Mac Attack's not going to come out, Tim, and he's just going to hold his station. But we'll see if Max Power can, now with the DRS button sorted out in the cockpit. Obviously, there was some sort of translation through his race engineer that he couldn't understand properly about pushing that button. He's come in. They've shown him the button to press. And we'll see how he goes. So this will probably be his one of his time laps, but we'll just see how he goes this next one around. And then just behind him on the map, you can see the other dot. That'll be Joshua Hill. So Max, there he goes. He finds the DRS and straight away up into 7th position. And 3rd of the P2s. And Joshua Hill's just set a new fastest lap, but hasn't really done much. He's still a 22.7, so it must have just shaved a millisecond off his time. Really hope you're going to enjoy this race. Settle in as we watch the last 2 cars here do their final qualifying lap, as Max will want to see if he can get in front of these GT4s. Attacking that corner. Oh, some attitude on that car. It's biting when he's turning too, but then, it's just a little bit wide. And that's cost him some time. So I don't think he's going to find any extra time with that. But Joshua Hill's coming through his second sector. He's going to have a green, almost a green. So we'll stay on board. See if he can find something out of this final 3rd sector. And will he risk hitting this DRS early? I think he'll hold on to it just that little bit, make sure he gets through this corner a little bit before he engages. And there he goes. And I didn't see if he went up or not. I don't think he did. So it's a 22.780. And he's back in. So it'll be this man here, Joshua Hill, on pole position with Mac Attack in 2nd. And then we'll have the start of the GT4s with DDF, Dino, DJM, which is Darren, Petey, and then the 3rd of the P2s of Max Power.
Because I'm just organising a couple of things for the chat at the moment. Just grabbing DDF stream. I'll throw that up.
So just to be aware, guys, as well, that they will do what we call the GTL formation lap. So, of course, we want a rolling start in the game with a big field like this. It upsets the game and they don't know where things are happening and guys get disconnected and gets penalties. So we just start on the grid. And they'll go off and they'll do 1 full lap under formation. And then the next time we're around, it'll be go. So there's Max Power in position 7. So he's got 4 of the GT4s in front of him. And he's going to have the bloody 9 wanting to get a good start if he can. But I think the P2 might beat him off the line. And you might even see Max Power be able to get into challenging DDF and Dino. But it could cause some drama into turn 1. Brett in the Twinkies. And Mark, as we said, he was an early leader championship way back in round 1, 2. Maybe round 3, I think, was when he surrendered the lead of the championship. Cuckoo in the Hooters car. And the Dunkin' Donuts and No Frills. Then we get into DDF's teammate, Rangy Rover, in the second of the FedEx. And he's John Slow in the finger-licking good KFC car. And get some M&Ms down here with Christopher Razor. And obviously wash it down with some Fanta of Norbs. And not to be outdone, Dat Boy right behind the M&Ms. It'll be a little who's the better of the candy boys. And Kiz in the second of the Hooters, bound in 15th. Gar in the Peavy car. Stu in the blue Spam car. He's coming through. And here comes G-Dude in the black Mercedes. And Bales in the M&Ms in the second one. And then we got Truey, the Trojan, the safest car on the market. And we got Twinkies at the back of Hyperden. So Hyperden came in late as well. So that's good to see. 24 cars on the track for the final GT4 Americana series. What a way to see these cars off, Tim.
And fantastic to see these liveries will be getting, the shadows will be lengthening through this race. It is ×5 progression, and they will be required for the last probably 10 or 15 minutes to run with full headlights, as the sun will fade and we will go into evening before the end of this race. A great way to send off the Americana series.
Yeah, it's going to be great seeing the outcome of this race for sure. As what they've done, as they can see, they've allowed Max Power to clear the GT4, so he's not going to be in any shape or form of a problem into turn 1. So I think that's a very wise decision that they've made, the stewards. So excellent to see that. I was getting a little bit worried about what could have happened at turn 1 with a fast P2 coming in at pace with cars all around him at the same time.
Now, there was only about probably have about a 3 to 4 second gap between the P2s and the GT4s. So we were expecting that they would lap the entire field at least once.
Yeah, they probably will.
But the 60 minutes plus 1. If they do not have a safety car, they could be pushing for fuel.
Yeah, they'll get close, but here we go. We're coming on the start-finish line. We got ready to take the start. Obviously, single file for the P2, so I don't think Mac Attack's going to be much of a challenge to start. And what we will have a little look at, I think, is the run of these GT4s. Look at them goes. Dino. Oh, he's backed out of the challenge into turn 1. I thought he may have given it a go, as Darren's been a little bit cheeky trying to poke his nose down the inside of turn 2, which probably would have put him in a worse off position.
That front straight may be nice and wide for 3 to 4 cars, but it does taper right down into the first corner. 4 cars wide into there does not work.
No, it won't at all. But look at them all filtering through now down this back straight. And it looks like up here as well, we've got John Slow having a look down the inside.
So for our listeners, Petey is sitting up into 4th place.
Yeah, so Petey's there, just holding off the bloody 9, who is obviously my choice that may win this race. Lurking right behind Petey.
And I'd have to say that the bloody 9 has been the most improved I think last season he was running around about 7th or 8th, and this season well up and through at the front of the pack. Absolutely outstanding drive by him. And John Slow, one of our round winners at Road America. Absolutely outstanding drive by him in the Porsche.
And Kuku's under attack now of no frills, but I think he's got the pace. But look at John Slow on the brakes hard. He's got that confidence like he did have at Road America. And he's made that stick. So he's gone from position 12, I think, up to position 9 in the GT4 class. So a good little early start for John Slow.
And for everyone watching the stream, the numbers to the left-hand side is the overall number, and the numbers on the right-hand side of the car class refers to their class position. So the first 3 cars are all P2s, and the rest of the field in GT4s. Are we seeing Norbs in the BMW? That was my car for the series. I had the BMW Fender Bender. And unfortunately, it was not the fastest car on track, but it was probably one of the most enjoyable cars to drive because it was an absolute bucket. Understeered, got a very loose rear, but make a great drift car. That was about all I can say for it.
Yeah, it's a fun car for sure to drive. I was obviously on there as well when we were in the shakedown, the rounds that I did go and enter in the Viagra BMW. And that's for sale for second hand if you're keen, if you're game. As Sticky Fingers Hooter of Kiz, seeing if he can slowly get his way up before the sun sets. And that's when the party starts for Kiz. Now, let's go back up to the front here with Joshua Hill. He has now got himself a 4-second lead over Mac Attack. So this could be fairly smooth sailing for Joshua Hill if he can make sure that when he does get into the lap traffic of the GT4s that he gets through there nice and cleanly. It doesn't force the issue, but mistakes can happen on the way, and it looks like Mac Attack's going to still keep him honest right through to the end of the race. There's Max Power, though. He's now just leading the leading GT4 car of DDF. Now, what do you think he's going to have to do here, Tim? Is he doesn't have to let them through.
I'm wondering if DDF is close enough to gain a draft from the back of that P2. Is that going to give him an advantage down the straight?
Well, it could just do that, but then if Max Power really wants to, try and come home in this P3, as he's just checked DDF. So he's now, Dino's had a spin as he's trying to avoid DDF as well. So as we said, Max Power probably braking a little bit too early, or the power of the braking of DDF almost had him run into the back of the P2 car. And this could be the problem that these GT4s might have with Max Power, but he just seems to be going to let these guys through.
And the GT4s have the top end speed to overtake the P2s down the straight. So Max will move out of the way here and allow the guys to continue racing.
Press the wrong button there, sorry. Just wanted to try and get DJ in, but they're all changing as they were overtaking. As Petey now has to attend. He's in 4th position, just behind the Bloody Nine. He's got through Max Power as well, so Max Power is dropping through the pack at the moment, but hopefully he can hold himself in position here somewhere as Kiz has come in early into the pit lane.
That could be a little bit of damage looking at the front of that car. I don't think there's any other reason that you would be taking a pit stop. The GT4s would comfortably do a 60-minute race without taking fuel.
I'm thinking, was it a drive-through? It was, he didn't stop, he just went straight through. So, good chance of that being actually a drive-through.
Yeah,
maybe some cut track limits.
Yeah, track limits are punishing. Catholic Hoonigan is celebrating for Petey, rowing him on.
Nice one.
So Petey has given up to the Bloody Nine. He's allowed for the Bloody Nine to get past, but I'm sure he'll tuck in behind that Mercedes and take the draft down the back straights, because the Mercedes will clearly have the top speed over the Porsche. And to everyone watching our stream, thank you very much. Welcome aboard. Hope you're enjoying it. We'll be uploading this later to our YouTube channel for everyone to take it in their own leisure at a later date. All of the races for this series are on our YouTube channel if you want to go back and look at any of the previous events. And we're sitting on board with Cuckoo now in the Camaro.
I've just been trying to find out if I could try and find the chat in your stream there, but I've got all I can see is your pinned message and nothing comes up after it. But anyway, I was just saying if guys can actually try and pick a winner here still, so that you can still put those votes in for the P2s and also the GT4s.
There we go. I've unpinned that. That might free up the chat for you, Neil.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
And I've also
let's go and have a look to see.
I've put up the link for. Sorry, I'll put up the link for a DDF stream in the chat as well for anyone that wants to take an in-car view. And also, John Slow will be streaming his in-car view from the Porsche as well this evening. John Slow, the average racer, and DDF Racer is also streaming, and the link is in the chats.
So this big attack here from Rangy Rover on No Frills. No Frills actually making the attack on Rangy Rover, sorry. For position 9. Mark got through earlier. And we've still got Norbs and the Fan are just behind. So this is a nice, tasty battle.
The two Janettas facing off here. And Norb slipping and sliding his way in the BMW just behind.
As the BMW likes to do, as you said earlier. But up front, DDF is still having a nice little 1 second lead on Darren. And at this moment, Darren just needs to just hold station, really, and the championship will be his. But because DDF missed a couple of rounds as well. He's all the way down in position 15. So with him winning the race does not affect Darren at all for this championship victory. And was Darren also the championship victory of the first
the
series we ran?
Brett.
Or Brett, of course, that's right. Brett got Darren was leading for a majority of the time, and Brett got him at the final race.
I think Darren had an absolute shocker in the last race.
Yeah, that confirms too. So Brett's carrying the number 1 race number, as the series champion from the previous series.
Now, question going out to the people we've got watching our stream. Next season, we are considering streaming live to YouTube and not streaming to Twitch. People are saying that is an easier format to cast on your TVs or to pick up on your smart devices. What's your opinion? Would you prefer us to be streaming on Twitch, or would you prefer to see the stream live on YouTube? Let us know in the chat.
As here comes No Frills, has a run on Rangy Rover this time around, but again, the braking just coming in early, and you can just see how No Frills did break early, because even Norbs came and closed that gap in quite considerably into turn 1. So the confidence of the braking is just not there for No Frills at the moment. As here we go. Mark is slowing. So something's going on with Mark, or it's just, a little bit of a touch there as they're trying to go too wide through the twisty bits there of turns 5 and 6. It's a tough one. It's usually only a
Or
one-car line.
does he have a couple of track cuts? Is he being cautious?
He could be. And he may be just, as you know, you do go slow when you start going in-car management, and he may be changing a few things. Maybe he wants, well, he shouldn't need any fuel, but I don't think what he will change. If he has to have a drive-through, well, he can't stop anyway. He's got to do the drive-through.
Gunner's just jumped on and said that DJM and Gunner tied in the Shakedown series.
That's right. We'll have to go through the leaderboard of the Shakedown series as well, because what a great run that was for everyone. Wasn't as long race distances as these ones on the Monday, and definitely gave an insight of what the pro drivers are going to have to expect come race day on Monday.
And it's been a great platform for those of us that are struggling with injury or aren't quite up to the pace of the pro guys. The Wednesday night shakedown's free for anyone to jump on. You don't have to register. You can just rock up and drive with these guys. So the Wednesday prelude. So on Wednesday night, last Wednesday, the shakedown raced their final round here at Indianapolis. Absolutely fun evening for you guys. I did watch one of the streams. It was a great race. So if you're loving AMS2, you want to get involved, Gravel Trap Legends, jump on the Discord. You're going to have a race on Wednesday nights. And there's a couple of extra special events coming up in the next few weeks before they start their next series. And we'll be talking about them shortly too. So stay tuned.
So Joshua Hill is coming for a pit stop, Tim. And I thought for a minute there it may have been a drive-through penalty. So when I said that he could just have plain sailing to take this victory, maybe he's come in knowing what you said, that maybe this 60 minutes with that one extra lap without safety cars may just see these cars short on fuel. So he may have just topped up those tanks just to safeguard him. And just to see what happens now. That has given the win, though. I mean, not the win, the lead of the race to the armed forces of America. And they had a sensational run at Watkins Glen and took victory there. So can they do it again? Did anyone pick Mac Attack for the outright victory? That's the question. So it looks like everyone here is enjoying their time on Twitch, but also says YouTube is also a little bit easy as well. So there's a mixed bag at the moment, Tim. But the main thing is it's out there and everyone can enjoy it.
Absolutely. We're going to give YouTube a crack next season for sure.
Just look at these shadows starting to encroach on the circuit. You can just see the sun's getting lower. Shadows from the cars are getting longer. And the sun's starting to look that nice tinge of a sunset. It's going to be great seeing these cars. We haven't had a night race with these cars, so the first time that we'll see the lights shining on these cars, I think, other than when it rained really heavy at Watkins Glen. The lights were on all the cars because it was so dark. Josh Hill's still in the pits. He's coming in again. So is this seeing the end of his race or what's going on here? We haven't heard anything. Is there anything in the chat, Tim, that you can pick up through the two-way radios that you can dial into and see what's going on with Josh Hill? Because at the moment, that's 2 visits into pit lane as many laps. But unbelievably, we've got DDF in second position outright in the GT4s.
Okay, there is a lot of complaints about track limits, but that is it at this stage.
So can DDF actually cruise through and maybe even take an outright victory here if something happens with Mac Attack with a couple of drive-throughs? If he has a drive-through Mac Attack, this could be DDF actually being the first time a GT4 will be winning outright. So we could be witnessing something very special here. And thinking about something special, Petey has found some extra pace. And now harassing the back of the bloody 9 a little bit more than what he has over the previous few laps.
Sorry, Neil, I've just been in the chat.
And that was his fastest lap as well of the race, with 129.796 from Petey. So come on, everyone, start cheering him on. Let's get this Pixel Max car into P3 in class. As John's slow now into pits as well. So
John's slow has had track limits, so this could be a drive-through.
That's a drive-through, so the finger licking good bucket of chicken. And that's the thing now.
So Josh Hill says extra mechanical 5 years on this round.
I personally want to have a look and see what No Frills is doing, because this is a nice little healthy battle of Cuckoo as well.
And Max Power may have blew his engine, I think.
Oh, so Max Power, that's no good.
So this could be the issue with the P2s. The track temps were expected to be well above 40 degrees, so they could be having issues with overheating.
Talking about issues, I think Cuckoo's got a whole lot of it, and it's a Dunkin' Donut right behind him. And you got Parcel Express of Rangy Rover not too far, and he's thinking, well, I better get going and get in front of these guys and catch his teammate DDF in position 1. I might just tick off the who we're watching there. It might just free up the screens a little bit. The only time when I do that, though, I think we miss the timings, don't we? You don't get the timing remaining up there. So we'll keep that back up. Get that back up onto the screen so everyone can actually see how much longer in the race is there.
And we can see the pace that the GT4s have over the P2s down that straight. I think that was Max Power giving way there.
Yeah, it definitely was Max Power. He's got some problems with that car. Obviously, engine reliability. And will we see a move shortly? This is just starting to brew to something exciting, I think, Tim. Everything else seems to be holding stations at the moment. The bloody 9's still holding off Petey for position 3. Oh, he's just not quite there at the moment. No Frills. But he's getting a nice drag, a tow, I should say, from the Camaro, but he just can't get in there on the brakes. And here we go, late break of Rangy Rover. Just pulled it up. The cars are so light through there, Tim. If any little nudge while they're braking, just on turning, will loop you around instantly. It's not the physics in the game. It's just the cars are fully loaded up and maxing out grip there on the rear tyres, as well as this fully gripped up down the bottom, and the rears are poking up.
It's a massive braking into turn 1 and also into turn 7, the next corner we're coming up to here.
So a few of the drivers have already got their headlights on.
As we mentioned, this is a ×5 progression race this evening. So we are expected to finish this race under lights in the dark.
Yeah, isn't it just... I really like how you can really extend the times in these races. and you get the immersion. Even if it's just during the day, you get the shadows, you know, going from midday into the afternoon as well. In an hour race, you can get quite a bit going on.
And it's hats off to Reza. The Automobilista 2 graphics, absolutely outstanding. The casting of the shadows, the reflection back off the cars, the big liquor flames when they come down the end of the straights and come off the power.
Here we go. I'm just thinking, will the Janettas team up here and get both down the inside here, where finally looks like No Frills may have got Cuckoo. Cuckoo's just giving him a little tap saying, come on, get going, butter. I want to keep moving. I've got another Janetta trying to overtake me. And he's drifted out a little bit wide, and this is going to be interesting. And Rangy Rover thought better of it.
Yes, I thought the John Deere might have stuck his big thumping nose up there.
Yeah, here he comes though, Tim.
Got the legs down the straight. All about getting the clean lines and keeping the power down and getting the power out of the corners in these cars. Very easy to light the rear tyres up. 2 or 3 tenths if you can't get the traction down correctly through some of these corners.
Yeah, most definitely. And fighting back though is Rangy Rover. He's not going to let this go. So we have Mac Attack at the moment. He's just starting to feed his way through some of the GT4s. As you can see on the map, he's already passed about 4 or 5 of them. So it's going to get interesting when he gets up to that battle of No Frills, Cuckoo, Mark and Rangy, and even Dino, all getting pretty close to one another. He just doesn't want to push the boundaries and get one of those drive-throughs, because the drive-through around here with a long pit, the pit lane, obviously will give the lead to this man DDF. And he's cruising at the moment. Look at that 6-second margin on Darren.
Yeah, as Gunnar said that they need a BOP, some sandbag in the boot of that car.
Yeah, I don't know. He's the leading Janetta. There's a few more cars before we see the next Janetta, but this McLaren of Darren is doing a great job with the Twinkies car. And we could see that number 2 turn to a 1 at the end of this race.
But the next series turns its on its ears, because we are going to open wheelers with the Inters, the Continental Inters, down in Brazil. Putting the challenge.
I'm going to say I've heard all good things about the Inters. I have not even driven them in the game at the moment. I've been busy with other things, but from all reports and all the stuff out on the socials, they're meant to be one of the funnest open wheel car out on the game at the moment.
But Neil, we are going to have to challenge ourselves with the linguistic chat that we have in trying to pronounce the turn names for some of the Brazilian tracks. They are tongue twisters.
We did have some fun of it earlier in the year, didn't we? When we visited some of the Brazilian circuits, and they are. But I think that's where we just make up some names, Tim.
Absolutely. Turn 3. As we come through now, turns 9 and into turn 10, we've jumped over onto the P2.
Oh, sorry, buddy. I was just trying to pick up this battle, because here it is here. Again, I've seen it on the map screen that there was so many of these cars together. And Dino's now in 10 just behind Mark. So we've got the 2 John Deere cars. Now, did Dino have a mistake? He was actually up.
He did. He got a little tap on the rear and turned the car around.
That's right. He did toot into turn 1. He avoided, as they were coming up through to pass max power. That was exactly right. And he avoided DDF. So he's on the comeback trail. So you've got 1.5 minutes, guys, to start putting down your text. Start typing away. Pick out who you're going to think will be the leader, the winner of the race overall. And then let's see if you can get a little bit creative with the top 3 of the GT4s. So see how you go with that, guys.
Can DDF hold it off? Darren's got the clean win because he's 15 points ahead on the leaderboard, so he just needs to keep it clean to take out the title. But the Bloody Nine's got a lot of heat coming from Petey, and Brett S is also tied on the back of that pack.
Yeah, definitely. And we want to see all those Petey fans at least put Petey in there in the top 3 of the GT4s, because I think that he will keep this challenge all the way to the end on the Bloody Nine.
Okay, so Smithy's got it as Mac Attack, DDF, DJM, and Petey.
Yeah, nice
So
one.
he's ruled out the Bloody Nine.
Yeah, so Mac Attack, as you can see now, that times progression, the top, what was it, times 5 that they were using? Or whichever they were using, times 10.
Five,
It's now,
times 5, yep.
times 5. It is now getting very dark here.
You can see the red glow from the sun going down.
Seen there so much on Petey. Let's go in the cockpit view and listen to that beautiful Porsche Boxer engine singing as it's trying to overtake the Bloody Nine.
Illicit's got a lot of faith. Illicit's actually saying that he's going to jump the Bloody Nine and DJM and finish behind DDF.
Nice one. Yeah. Well, it's definitely on the cards because Darren is just, playing it safe up front, and he's not too far in front of these cars. You can see him there now, just in front of one of the P2 cars.
Yes, we can't not mention Mac Attack. Very deserved win if Mac Attack can hold on to take the overall win for this race. Absolutely happy for the man. He's had a bit of time off with the birth of his first child, so good to see him back in the car again.
Yeah, definitely, it sure is. Now, do we have the final positions of the shakedown at all, Tim, on any graphic, or have we got
I have not got a graphic for the shakedown. No, sorry, Neil, but we can bring it up for a chat if you like.
What we'll do is we'll go through it a little bit later. We'll keep on with this race at the moment, just past the halfway mark. There's a bits going on as well, all the way back. I can see, not with John Slow, actually. Next couple up here is Norbs, actually, trying to fend off Dat Boy. So Norbs has fallen away from Dino in position 10. And he's the leading BMW at the moment. The other BMW driver is Stu in the Spam BMW, all the way in position 18 in club, or position 19 overall.
Yeah, the BMW does struggle at this track, just trying to get the power down. You have to short shift. You're taking some of these tight curves in third gear just to try and prevent the rear wheels from lighting up. It does really hurt the car here, but doesn't take away from the pleasure of driving it, that's for sure. For
Oh, and look at this of Dat Boy. He was thinking about it for a second and just didn't get it in there at turn 7.
There could be an opportunity if he gets power down here to sneak up the inside, but doesn't look like he's got the traction for it.
Yeah, he's also got Mac Attack trying to make a move as well at the same time. But Mac Attack's probably just going to hold as Dat Boy is actually just, I think he's getting a little bit frazzled with the blue flags probably being waved, to be honest. He's probably just trying to think, well, come on, Mac Attack, let's get through here. And you'll just see how the GT4 will actually start to extend its legs on the P2 at the end here. You can just see the Porsche starting to now take away. And it's just to do with the top end speed of those P2 being limited. But under brakes, he was able to make that pass nice and easy, Mac Attack.
The downforce of these cars make them so much faster around these corners.
Christopher Razor is just in front of G-Dude as well. So G-Dude in the second of the Jack Daniels Mercedes is seeing if he can mix up these M&Ms a little bit more. And saying that, I think he's on. I was going to say he's lost us, but he's just dropped down back a little bit. He might have had a little bit of a moment into turn 1 or 2. And Kiz, who we've seen obviously in pit lane a couple of times as well, and he's all a little bit munted there at the front of his car.
Looks like the Hooters have had a roll in the hay there, mate.
I think they had a little frolic in the hay. So back up to Rangy Rover in position 7, sort of sitting in the middle of Mark and No Frills.
And Rangy also missed a couple of the rounds. Disappointing for FedEx because their pace between both of those drivers, they would have clearly given Twinkies a run for the Drivers' Championship.
And this man here, Brett, as we said before, he's slowly catching the back of Petey. We were saying how his setup here during qualifying, he was using the default and he hadn't loaded up his actual race setup. So we'll see if he can latch onto the back of this battle for position 3. Currently just matching the similar times as Petey, as Bales is into the pits, maybe for a stop go.
But just have a look at the times for DDF. Obviously running some fuel out of that car, a good second faster than Darren. And that would give it explains why they've got almost a 10-second gap now on the rest of the GT4 field.
Yeah, exactly. And at this stage, it looks like it's going to be a battle for this final spot on the podium for the GT4s. And yeah, DDF is just smashing it. If he can get in there, yeah, that's all that's all he's doing now is hot lapping and talking to his YouTube followers at the same time as well. So DDF, let's all support him to try and get down in the 28s of the GT4s around here at Indianapolis. It'll be some doing.
I'm going to say he's actually not that far off the back of Mac Attack. So Mac Attack is obviously taking a bit of heat off. He's got clearly a handy margin, so he'll cruise his way now home.
Yeah, he sure will. Max Power is the only other P2 on the grid as Joshua Hill is retired. And he was the early leader of the race and looked like he was going to take it very easy as Petey's pushing very hard in this Porsche. Just done a 30.096, so he's still he's on the fast ones, definitely. And when we say DDF almost in the 28s, he's in the 128.740, that past lap, previous lap. So almost the fastest car on track, and that's including the P2 of Mac Attack. Unbelievable.
And I did jump onto one of DDF's streams to get a little bit of insight into the cars. And he made comment that he hasn't done much to the setup for this car. He made a setup for round 2 and pretty well has been using the same setup all the way through.
So yeah, Jay Hill retired because of mechanical issues with the turbo. So there it is in pit lane.
So that's the blue dot we see parked in pit lane.
But you can definitely see the fastest lap was earlier on with Joshua Hill with a 122.780. So Mac Attack is obviously, as you said, just cruising because Joshua Hill was in the 22s and Mac Attack in the P2, he's only just been constantly in the 28s.
Mac Attack would be running through some traffic as well, so but no pressure on him. 45 seconds to the nearest contending car, so easy to keep back, relaxed, get the job done. And
yeah, definitely.
As we mentioned, the P2s, it was going to be a push for them to go 61 plus or 60 minutes plus 1 lap on a tank of fuel. So fuel saving could also be in the back of his mind to ensure that he does manage to get across the line to take the flag.
Oh, and who's that out wide?
DDF has just spun.
So there you go. So the leader of the race trying to put in the fastest laps has now just dropped the order into position 5. And this is helping some of the predictions that people had.
This brings PD up into third. Yep.
As they overtake, put a lap on the boss man Stu in the BMW as he's well and truly getting out of the way and being nice to everyone. But Darren now has taken the lead of the GT4. And how fitting will that be, Tim, for him to actually take victory here and also take the championship win as well, as he's just coming up to the back of Truey in the other McLaren.
Now, the interesting point here, would you prefer to be in the Mercedes at this stage of the race, or would you prefer to be in the Porsche?
Look, I think I'd like to be in the Mercedes. I think the Mercedes can cover the points, the braking areas of Petey if he wants to, and then he's got the acceleration out. But the top speed of the Porsche is the worry probably for the Mercedes, and obviously then the solid braking. So the Bloody Nine will have to be careful here in the turn 1.
Okay, so DDF has had feedback issues, so force feedback issues was causing a few problems for him, and that was the reason that he spun. So.
Well, things aren't going any better because that's what happened also. He had wheel disconnect or something happen last round as well, I think it was, or maybe Road America. And we saw a great comeback drive from him through the field.
And Gunnar says he would prefer to be in the Merc. Great defence, great ability to hold off. But we did see around Road America, the Merc versus the Porsche, and the Porsche was able to come home with the flag. So still 18 minutes to go. It's going to be a very, very exciting way to finish up this series for the GT4s.
Isn't it what? As Max Powell's still going around, and here we go. Petey. This could be the point here right now. Coming to turn 1. Petey needs to make sure that he stays in the back here of the Bloody Nine. He's going to actually go side by side. He's already, if he gets his top end speed that we know the Porsche can have, he may have position 2. As the Merc has just got the legs though, actually, but it's the braking. And here we go. He's got the inside and they're being respectful here, but the Bloody Nine.
Turn back, but he's still going to have the advantage on the turn back to the right-hand side here.
Yeah, it's going neck to neck here, and he's just not in there at the moment, but he's run wide, has the Bloody Nine, but then he's got that corner, so he purposely ran wide, so at the corner for the little twisty chicane of turns 4 and 5. I mean, 5 and 6, sorry.
Great defensive driving there.
And this is role reversal than what we saw at Road America, Tim. We saw, as he's brought up, the Porsche was actually holding off the Mercedes, and now this time, oh, it's Brett in the Twinkies car, almost got Petey napping. And we heard in the screens there that
and DDF on the back of this pack as well, so this is not over.
No, buckle yourselves in. 17 minutes to go. We've got the battle for the position 2 going on, and also position 3 outright. And it's actually now a 4-way battle.
And the chat's going off. The boys get the elbows out. Gunner's cheering on Brett. We've got the PD fan club cheering on the Porsche.
Yeah, and I think the Bloody Nine's just having a little breath a sigh of relief here, as it was all under attack. As talking about attack, this DDF, his force back issues may have been solved. We can only hope, because he's going to liven up this battle as we're into darkness here at Indianapolis.
And we've got a few of DDF's viewers in our stream at the moment, so that they will be certainly cheering him on. And we all know how fast DDF can be in that Janetta.
Yeah, you could get the elbows out on that race at Road America, though, but it could have also ended in tears, because I tell you what, John Slow had the grit between his teeth there, and he wasn't going to give away anything. And Esky did have a little bit of an opportunity at one stage, but where we ran half a lap side by side, if we can remember, and it was all John Slow just hanging in by a thread, and got away with it.
But if we look at those lap times there, Neil, DDF is still the fastest GT4 on track. DJM in the 129s as well. But Petey was the slowest car that last lap, and that could have been battling a little too hard and having to back out and losing some drive out of some of those corners.
Yeah, I think that's what it may have been.
There's a 129 now from Petey, so he's back up on pace. No frills into the pits.
There he goes, and he'll hand over a few positions from this, which could be a drive-through. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the car. As Cuckoo is trying to still hold on to the back of Mark if he can, and they should be leaping up a position due to no frills.
And T-Bone jumped in and said he's also gunning for John Slow. Currently sitting 14th.
Yeah, he's a very hard car to see in this dark part of the circuit of John Slow.
John's another one of our streamers. You can see in-car footage from John Slow. John Slow, the average racer.
It's all getting very cramped up here at the last few corners of this circuit as they go through turn 13.
Now, if the air temperature was to cool this evening, the Porsche would probably have a little bit of advantage, being the turbo powered, but the air temperature is expected to stay consistent.
Yes, we can see the fabulous, oh, there we go, the overtake of DDF as we've been on the roof cam of Brett. Petey's having a little go here. We've got to pick up on Petey. Can he get up into turn 7, Tim, and make this move? He'll be starting to get frustrated.
And he's about to get frustrated front and rear, because DDF is going to park up at the tail of that Porsche and make life very, very difficult for him.
Sure is. But what a sensational drive Petey's doing in Pixel Boy's car. Pixel Boy was kind enough to let Petey drive this magical Porsche. And it's the max factor of the Pixel Max. And look at the brake lights reflecting off the front bonnet of DDF.
Yeah, so Petey's got the challenge now. He's also got to try and make the pass on the Bloody Nine, but he has to try and place that Porsche in a position that the DDF does not take advantage.
100% here, right at this moment. Petey's got to defend for all he's worth, but he's also, as we said, you've got to try and keep pace and not lose the back of the Bloody Nine as well.
And you don't want a little love tap through those corners, because that will spit the rear of the car out.
It sure will, but I'll tell you what, there will be one red misty helmet right behind Petey at the moment, and that's DDF. He'll be frustrated that he threw away this lead of this race. He was cruising. And then some hardware issues. has again ruined his chances of a victory. The race isn't over yet. 11 minutes remaining. Even though Darren is just cruising out front.
And Macatak just needs to keep his head cool now. He can't start thinking about the beer and champagne. Still 10 minutes, well, 11 minutes to go. Even though he's got a clear lead on this field, he still needs to make it across the start-finish line and grab that checkered flag.
The bloody nine's been balked as well, and they're all slowing up for it. So this is going to be interesting when we get the camera view again. It's all through with Max Power, and also it's G-Dude's teammate. I mean, it's the G-Dude, the bloody nine's teammate. And will he be a protector here and swing it down, keep it down the inside? No, he's not. But look at DDF go hard around the outside. Will he do it?
That is going to...
And look at this. And now Petey's thinking, no, I'm going to go around
He's got the inside
outside
line.
He has too. Nice
and DDF
there.
is going to stick his nose up the inside here and make life exceptionally difficult for the bloody nine, but he's got the job done. Petey now takes second position in class, and the challenge is now to hang on to it.
Now, won't the bloody nine be dirty on his teammate G-Dude? Because all of a sudden he's lost that position.
And they've now got to contest with Truey.
Yeah, so hopefully
Truey moves out of the way there.
Out of the way. But it was all a mixture. We had Max Power, we had G-Dude, and they all balked everyone up and slowed them down.
DDF is still on a march here. He is going to have the pace. He's certainly got the manoeuvrability. Had to back out of it. Goes for the switchback.
Oh, bloody nine. He's out. He's gone. So he's had a
not
touch.
Be happy.
So can go for his fall from Grace from position 2 down to position 5, and here comes Rangy Rover, I think, right behind him. Maybe. No, it's not. It's the leader of Mac Attack. So what will DDF do there? Will he be feeling a little bit guilty there with that touch, or was it just a racing incident? It was hard racing, that's for sure, Tim. I tell you what, this stewards will be looking at that after the race.
Yes, the bloody nine will be seeing red, but I'm sure he'll want to take a closer look at those events to see who was at fault. It's hard to say. It happened very quickly. They were in the heat of battle. I think they were giving each other space. So I think it was just a racing incident. I don't think there's anyone to blame at that stage.
Now have a look at this little battle between, I believe it might be still North.
So DDF has actually blamed the bloody nine for that event.
Yeah, well, it could be that because, well, I don't know. Everyone's going to have that same opinion that you blame each other, but I just think it's a racing incident. I don't think you can blame anyone.
I think the bloody nine is still cursing G-Dude because he gave him an early call to say that he was coming around the outside. And G-Dude cut him off, which caused that whole chain of events to start that allowed Petey to gain. So, yeah, he would have been frustrated at that stage.
Yeah, definitely. And that's unfortunate, but that's racing, and that's why we love coming back each week. And I tell you what, look, I just thought for a minute there. Knowles, but he was his normal line by the looks of things. But Knowles was going off. Oh, it's no frills, almost gets to the back of that boy. And this is for position 10 to get in the top 10. Knowles currently holding that with 7 minutes remaining, plus that one extra lap. But I honestly think, Tim, that, it's the circumstances of events that caused that all to happen. And the bloody nine was fighting hard to try and make a wrong back into a right. So, usually when that all cools down, they look at that, they can probably shake hands and just say, well, it was good hard racing. But make sure you watch your next time when we come to blows, because I won't be giving you any favours, that's for sure.
We saw Bathurst last year. The guys were told to take it easy, water on the outside of the track. Lap one, the the red curtains came down. We had 3 cars spat off. I think Whincup was one of them. And the only comment that said, we pay these guys to drive, so what do you expect?
Exactly. And we like to see the action. We want to see hard racing. We don't want to see each other follow on one another. But yeah, I don't think there was nothing intentional there. They were side by side, fighting hard. And that's what happens, you know.
But the guys have had some fresh air now. They have calmed down. And DDF has got the eyes on the back of the Pepsi Mac Porsche. But PD has proven to be a contender. So let's see whether he can hold off DDF.
Yeah, there's a lot of support, obviously, for both these drivers. So, look, let the best man take position 2.
Oh, they're saying a NASCAR payback. They're expecting someone to do a run around the wall.
Yes, well, we did see some sparks fly, actually, from the bloody 9 in that whole heat of the moment as well, when he ran a little bit wide, I think it was, and touched the wall when Petey was giving him a whole lot of pressure.
It looks like these guys have some clear space to race each other now. There is no one within a second or 2 of them. So it's up to Petey now to keep a calm head and just make the back of that Porsche as wide as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've seen DDF in that Ginetta. He can get that thing to turn around on a dime.
Yeah, and he's trying to latch onto that extra pace of that Porsche, and Petey's just put his fastest lap of the race as well.
Could be it. He's given it. I think Petey gave it up there.
No, he isn't.
Oh,
he's
still giving it a crack. Back. Oh, a little bit on the grass. That's not a good spot to be. The DDF's got the inside line here through the double right-hander.
He does, but Petey's trying to try and see if he can get a nice little run through this little switch back through here and get a late brake manoeuvre into turn 7. This is going to be his last chance, I'd say. Otherwise, it might say goodbye to DDF. Here he goes.
Yeah, DDF didn't get the best drive out of there. There was a little bit of oversteer, which gave Petey the power to get him down the straight.
Yeah, Petey knew that he had to do that manoeuvre, because if he didn't, I'd say DDF would have already been a second up the road. So great driving by Petey. He's attacking hard, and he's definitely letting DDF know it's not going to be an easy position from him at all.
Well, that's a key moment, guys. You can go back and watch this stream on our YouTube. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. You can see that pass through the little chicane there. There was a oversteer correction moment from DDF in that Ginetta that allowed Petey to get the drive on down the straight. But here we go. We're back to start finish line to do it all again.
Yeah, and this time around, but DDF's waiting late. He's thinking late, and he's gone in
That's
there.
A track
but
cut. That's cost.
That'll be a track. Yeah, and wonder how many truck cuts he has actually got. So he may find himself a drive-through as well. We don't know, because he has been pushing hard when he was in the lead. So he may have got a few truck cuts during that time as well. But he's driving fast enough to think, well, he may not have a track cut. I mean, I'm not saying a track cut. I mean, like, exhausted his track cut limits.
We could potentially be looking at 3 more laps here, Neil, because we are 60 minutes plus 1 lap. So if we just take care of where Mac Attack is.
He's just come up to turn 7, into turn 7 now.
So he would be expected to do 2 more laps, and then we will have 1 final lap. So 3 laps to go, people.
Yeah, he's just behind these guys. And he will put a lap on these guys before the end of this race. He's the blue dot, I think. No, he's the red dot, sorry. The solid red dot.
So for all you PD supporters, can PD hold on? Can he keep DDF behind this Porsche? There's that ability for that Janetta just to turn through those corners.
Yeah, definitely. So this is going to be interesting when Mac attack. You can just see him in the background there. He may not even put a lap on these guys. He may just hold back. He's only lapping just under 2 seconds a lap faster than them, so he's a little bit behind that. But I'll tell you what, Petey will be hoping that they do. He does lap him, but here we go. DDF's got to run down around through the actual Indianapolis curve, banking. And it looks like DDF has made this one stick, but we have got this straight down into turn one where the BMW can be strong on the, the Porsche can be strong on the brakes.
Yeah, I think the Janetta's got quite the drive coming around that last curve back onto the embankment. But again, if Petey can get up to the back of this Janetta and again take flight through the chicane and get the drive onto the straights out of turn 6 and coming down into the braking zone into turn 7, I think that's his best thought.
Yeah, so he's still got to push on though. He's got Brett not too far behind. And he's trying to see if he can catch up at all. As Scars all the way down in 16th overall.
And our time remaining has clicked off, so we are now on our last lap.
So there'll probably be one more lap, I would say.
And to everyone watching, thanks guys for watching our stream. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you've had a good night. We'll be uploading this stream to YouTube, so you can catch the highlights for it at a later date. And next season, we'll be streaming live to YouTube and not streaming to Twitch.
Here we go for the battle between Datboy and Norbs. So Datboy's finally got in front of Norbs for into position 11. No Frills has been able to take away into top 10.
And the guys said a big shout out to Max Power as the driver for the day for staying at it, even though he didn't have the pace in the P2.
Yeah, most definitely. That was a good drive for Max in a high-powered car that he's not used to one bit at all. But the experience gained will obviously be a huge benefit for him in the future. As they just come up to a lap car, so Knowles will be trying to see if he can get an opportunity here. But no, I think that's given not a bad run for that boy on the exit. John Slow's had a race that he'd probably like to have again, but he's also holding off Christopher Razor that's just behind him in position 14. And Christopher's in that McLaren. As we'll pick up Mac Attack here. This is his last lap. So coming on through to take victory here, and that's a 2 from 2 for the Armed Forces of America. So they've come on strong late in the series for P2. And it's a big congratulations to Mac Attack.
And
well done for him. DJ's going to have one full lap to go. These guys have all got another lap to go.
but disappointing for Joe Hill. He did have the pace in the P2, but unfortunately engine trouble ended his race early.
Yeah, it did too. So we're just seeing these guys. The race is still on for all of these guys. We've got Darren just coming up into turn 10 as DDF and crew come out of the twisty switchback. So DDF has actually reduced that gap to just on 6 seconds. That's down to about 5 seconds by the looks of things on the leader, Darren. And Darren's going to go on through as well to take victory of the GT4s and also of the series, of the Americana series. So what a great victory this will be for Darren, Tim.
And Twinkie's taking out the construction title.
Yeah, the team's championship. So well done to them. Awesome drive from Darren. Congratulations on both the victory and the championship victory. Well drive, good comeback drive from DDF. Some will think that he was maybe not deserving of that, but I tell you what, I think that we do want to see racing, and we got that for sure.
It was an absolute cracker. So there we can see on our screens now, Mac Attack taking out the overall title for round 6 of the Americana series in his wildcard, the P2. For the GT4s, we had DJM followed by DDF, Brett S. So did Brett actually... Petey had a 21-second penalty.
Oh, wow.
Petey
So that,
failed to take a drive-through would be my guess.
I would say so. He's probably had a couple on his board too, so he may not have even taken a penalty of one of them. So they just get built up.
So
But maybe it's the one. I don't know.
Disappointing for Petey. Great drive to get up into 3rd position, but unfortunately, the penalty brought him back to 4th. The Bloody Nine hold on there for 5th position in class with Rangy Rover, Dino Cuckoo, Mark 860, and No Frills rounding out the 10. A great drive by all, and we'll continue down through our field if my mouse will work here. In 11th place was Dat Boy, 12th place Norbs, 13th John Slow, Christopher Razor, Scar 666, G Dude, His, Bales McKenzie, Truey, and Max Power holding on for the last place on track. And Max did have some mechanical issues as well. Again, the heat, I don't think they had their ducts open enough, or they were running the incorrect turbo rating. They were having engine troubles.
Yeah, I think that maybe it was one of the drive-throughs that maybe because Bales has also got a 21-second penalty as well. So that may have been come late in the race and they didn't serve that. And that's why they've copped that. So unlucky for Petey and their supporters. But still, you can take away a fabulous drive from Petey as well. He put up a good fight to the Bloody Nine, got that position, and then just couldn't hold on to DDF in the end. And a good drive from Brett. Remember, he had the setup problems, started in position 6 or 7, and got his way up onto the podium.
So let's see if we can track down Mac Attack. See if I can actually drag him into our chat. And get that to there. And we'll say good evening to Mac Attack. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
So 2 from 2, Mac, for the Armed Forces in the P2, winning at Watkins Glen and now here at Indianapolis. That must be a good feeling for the team. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I don't know if we won at the Watkins Glen, so I might need to be reminded on that one. But yeah, no, mate, it's awesome tonight. Obviously, John Hill, I think he was quick tonight, but unfortunately had a mechanical issue, so he dropped out of it. But yeah, so really this should be his spot, but I'm always happy to take it where I can. So yeah.
60-minute race, and the temperatures were issues. I think Max Power also made an error on his setup. He was also having some mechanical issues with the P2, which would probably be due to the air temp for this race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he wasn't the only one. I think I was a bit risky. I had it on 75 boost and my engine damage was going up. So I just put it in lean and just kind of cruised to the end. But yeah, it was good fun.
Sounds like a smart move, Mac Attack. It will be interesting to see where you finish in the championship. You should creep up over into the top 10. So that's a good result for the final round. So congratulations, buddy. And I hope you enjoyed that run around Indianapolis. It's such a driver's circuit.
It really is, mate. Yeah. Thanks again, guys.
No worries. Thanks, mate. We'll pass you back.
And I think we need to get the man of the moment as well, Darren, DJM, who's obviously taken the championship and the victory here tonight in the GT4s, if he's available.
I am just looking for him in the chat. I'm going to see whether I can drag him down. Whoop. And we say good evening to Darren.
Hi, g'day. How you doing?
Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, it was sort of inherited. DDF definitely had clear pace. So I was just sort of trying to go as fast as I could, but keep it straight. And, unfortunately with his issues, I inherited it.
But I think without
50K.
even the win this evening, you would have taken out the Drivers' Championship quite cleanly with a second or third position. So fantastic drive, not only this evening, but for the entire series.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah. Sorry, Darren, go on.
That's right. Yeah, it's just trying with the points. There's only like 1 point per place that you drop, so you just got to try and have a consistent season. And that's basically all it's up to. So even though I wasn't going to win many with the slightly slower car, still worked out.
Shorty's workout, and as I said, you're saying that maybe DDF could have won that one. Obviously, he was out in front, but it was the same thing in the P2s as well. Obviously, with Joshua Hill, so it seemed to be in class. No, the Indianapolis gods, I would assume, were making it hard for the drivers that looked like they were going to win. So you had some nice battles there as well. So, and from taking out this championship, you should be very happy to take the number 1 number plate off your teammate as well, of Brett, who obviously took the championship last series as well. So out there in force.
Yeah, no, I was a little bit disappointed with how a couple of the races went last season, so I put a bit of extra work in this one, and it worked out.
It really showed. So congratulations. Go and celebrate your victory here. What a fitting way to end the series, taking out the series and the final race here at Indianapolis. Well done, Darren.
That's a cool series, and thanks for putting the show on. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bob. And Neil, I think we may actually take advantage here. See if we can find Max Power, because I think Max is also one of the standout. Doesn't have the pace every week, but has the consistency and the drive to stay on track and cross the line. So let's see if we can find Max. And good evening, Max Power. How are you, mate?
Hello, Max. You might have to take your push to talk off.
Hello.
Hey, Max. How are you, mate?
Good evening. How are you, mate?
Oh, we're good, mate. We thought we'd better bring you into the chat, mate, because you are one of the drivers of the series. You have not always had the pace, but you have had the grit and the grind to stay with the race and to cross the finish line. I think you've finished the series in 13th position. Absolutely.
Fabulous, mate. Well, I blew my turbo tonight, so tonight it was a matter of, do I get the car home or not? And Stu said there's a bucket load of points available if I just get this thing home. So although it was the slowest car on track, it brought me home.
And that's great to see, Max. Great to see that drive to remain on track and cross the line. And 26 cars, I think, started tonight. 21 cars finished. So we did have a few guys drop out. But you've got to cross that finish line to take some points, mate, and you do it every week. It's great driving.
Oh, thank you, mate. No, much appreciated. It's been a fabulous season. I've really enjoyed it here in America, and I'm looking forward to our time in Brazil. That looks like it's going to be a great season.
Well, we heard the drivers are having to do the full Brazilian, mate. Are you lining up for a wax?
You wouldn't want to see that.
Just a
well
thought.
done, Maxie.
Thank you, mate. And while I've got you guys, much appreciated in the efforts that you guys do. Really enjoy the show after the race, and that's what I'll be sitting back doing afterwards, because it gets you a whole new perspective of how the race is going. And I really enjoy that. So thanks, guys.
No worries.
Thanks for those compliments, Max, and yeah, well done. And I can't wait to see you on track again next time in Brazil.
Me too, buddy. Yeah, me too. Thanks a lot, guys, for having me, and much appreciated.
No worries.
All
Thanks, Max. We'll put you back to the chat.
Thanks, matey. Bye-bye.
So there we are, Neil. That rounds up the GT4 series with the P2 wildcard. And there'll be a few weeks off now before we head over to our next series. Change my screens around so I can actually see what I'm talking about.
While you're doing that, though, I just want to bring out a big thing here as well for obviously for all the Wednesday shakedowners. We obviously had Darren also take out that first alongside Gunner. They were both equal leaders there. And then we also had Mark in second position. And then third, we had Cuckoo and Kiz both tied on points. And that's when we and then have Joshua Hill in fifth. And then I think it was Petey, Dino, Bales, and Steve Slow was there. Scar, Dat Boy, Max was up in position 11, I think it was. Stu in 12, Brett in 13th, No Frills in 14th, G-Dude 15th, Lou in 16th. He was one for the one. Woody Lizard, myself in 16th position, and Tim, you were behind me on in 17th. So the two commentators came home close together. And then we had Unicorn in 18th, Mac Attack in 19th, and Christopher in 20th. So that was a great series as well. And it was very close up front as we had tied points for first and third.
And absolutely a pleasure to drive with these guys. Like I say, some of the nicest guys on and off track. Absolutely love Gravel Trap Legends. Thank you guys for allowing us to stream your events, and thank you for the quality of driving. Without that, we'd be talking to ourselves, and we've got plenty to talk about with the quality of driving on track. So thank you to everyone, and Stu and all the admin from Gravel Trap Legends, because without them, the guys wouldn't get on track to start with. So hats off to all.
Yeah, definitely. And there's no way. We've just got the leaderboard up here for the Monday Night League as well. I don't know if there's any way of you being able to do a quick cut and paste and put it up on the screens or something.
I can
But
see what we can do here, Neil. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to flick some screens around.
while he's doing
And
that, I'll quickly run through it. So obviously Darren wins the championship on 187 points. The Bloody Nine comes home in second on 166, overtakes Dino, who's on 159, Mark on 146, 1 point in front of Brett on 145 in fifth position. Mac Attack comes home in sixth on 135, 2 points clear of Kiz on 133, just 1 point in front of Norbs in that BMW on 132 in position 8. So great job from Norbs. No Frills, again, 1 point from him away from Norbs in ninth. And Scar, 1 point in position 10. So what a series. There was nothing in it in the top 10. And that's just amazing. So Mac Attack did get up into position 6 there, Tim, with that win. Max Power, as you said, finishes home in 14th.
yeah, and Petey for all the Petey fans. Petey with 55 points, but only had a handful of rounds. So fantastic drive for him. We look forward to seeing his pace in the next series.
Yeah, definitely. And what an extended list that was. 30 drivers throughout the series. So that was just a good effort for everyone supporting Gravel Trap Legends. Get on board, guys. We've said it enough. So do the thing. If you are free on Monday or Wednesday nights, it would be great to see you guys on track.
And there are a couple of special events. Guys, there was a link to the Discord in the chat this evening. Take a look for it. Gravel Trap Legends. There is a special coming around the original Northcliffe in the Minis, I believe, or the Volkswagen, taking the series. And there's also a go-kart one-off series to fill in before the next season starts, which will be the full Brazilian in the Formula Inters. So until next time, Neil, it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from Neil. Thank you for watching.
Cheerio.